All right, y'all. I am such a huge fan of the guest I'm getting ready to bring on. She is a singer, fashionista, actress, and all around performer extraordinaire. You can catch her on the new season of Harlem streaming on Prime Video. Welcome to the Reecie Colbert Show, Shoniqua Shandai. Hey, girl. Hey.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Thank you for agreeing to come on my show. I was saying before we started recording, I slid into her DMs. I'm not saying everybody could do that, but that's what I did, because I have been watching Harlem since season 1, and you've been my favorite. I know a lot of people you're their favorite now, your character Angie, but you were my favorite character from day 1. Let me just be clear.
Hey.
So I want to talk to you about a variety of things. I know you've been doing a lot of promo for Harlem because that season just aired, but I want to start off talking about your music because yeah, you are a beautiful singer and you have a new video out for your single, Something About You. Tell the folks who might be used to kind of talking about Angie and loving on Angie, tell them about Shoniqua the singer.
Yes. Well, this Shoniqua the singer made Shoniqua the actor possible.
Ooh, okay.
Literally every role that I've gotten that's been beneficial to my career has had music involved. And so during the pandemic, we were shooting season 1 and we had a break of a year when everyone shut down.
Yeah.
And the ways that I usually connect to characters, specifically this music, is I try to find what they're obsessed with. And with this music, and I'm like, okay, well, God, obviously you've been wanting me to sing. I've always wanted to sing. It's been this thing that I love, and I see how you've used it in this other art form. So let me just start creating for me.
Yeah.
I've always been a journaler as well, but I got more intentional with okay, let's turn these poems that I have into song lyrics, and really wanting to be a good steward of music. I feel like you can remember song lyrics from 25 years ago, and there's something so powerful about that. So really wanting to put out songs and lyrics that are going to feed people, heal people, or help bring some good things in. I love me a downtrodden, heartbroken song, but I don't want to always sing that. I feel like it's same way with music that we are trying to do with Harlem, which is we've seen Black oppression. Now let's go into Black joy. And I think we have that. And there's so much space to create that in music right now. And so I have a music video directed by the incredible Megan Good.
All right now.
Who became an angel and was like, whatever you want to do, I'll support you. And we created this beautiful music video starring myself and Isaac Keys, Jackie Long. We got some more cameos of some beautiful Black women I admire, and just really wanted to show a different type of Black love, a different type of leading lady. We get to see this woman who is slaying red carpets and photo shoots, and this curvy body is draped in luxury and avant-garde fashion, and just using those visuals to, again, add some representation that we don't always get to see. I want to see curvy bodies feeling chosen and romanticized, and men who look like Isaac Keys get to be soft and romantic as well.
Yeah. And I definitely feel like that stood out to me. I noticed the red carpet footage. Isaac Keys, of course, we know him from Power. He's one of the stars of Power, the Tommy version of it, Ghost, whatever it was. I don't know. All of them. They got so many of them. But I love what you say about representation. And I feel like I see that in the various roles that you have in your career in terms of being an actress and in terms of being a singer. But you talk specifically about curvy, and you to me, I think you just have this beautiful iconic look that is serving up everything in Harlem and then on your red carpets and on your Instagram, your social media. Talk about a little bit, if you can, just the importance of embracing your body, but also showcasing it in a way that celebrates you as a Black woman, you as a woman with curves, as opposed to shying away from that.
Well, I love this curvy body.
Yes.
First and foremost. But I see the gap. I see where I didn't feel as a viewer, I didn't see people all the time who looked like me in the ways that I want to be seen. And which is such a shame because all of my aunties, all of my cousins are fly, fine, confident, beautiful, vivacious, colorful women, and they wear what they want when they want to. And yet it's such a very marginalized area that we put curvy women in, and we're not even allowed. Thank God for Queen Latifah.
Oh yeah,
but we can't even be the leading roles either. Like in our own, like it's like, oh no, you are literally a type here just to play an assistant or an exuberant best friend too, rather than like being in your own space. And I just feel like anywhere I can, any red carpet, any photo shoot, any video, I will try to use this body to show us what we haven't seen, to shed a light that we are as main character, as leading lady, as beautiful, as expensive as everyone else.
I know that's right.
And what there really is, honestly, and then this is just going into fashion, there is an underservice to curvy bodies. Like you don't get to, you can hardly find a high-end designer who designs. I remember there was, oh my gosh, I can't recall this actress's name.
Leslie Jones.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. I'm about to lose my black curvy card. Leslie Jones could not find anybody to style her.
That was a shame.
It was horrible. I'm like, she is a movie star and she can't find any designer who goes past a size 10 or a 12, because designer 12 is an 8, you know? And I just really feel like it's a form of activism.
Yeah.
Whenever I show up and take up as much space as possible, because I'm a voice in a size that says I shouldn't be, that I should be meek and quiet and sit in the corner and be thankful to be here. So I wear all of my bright colors and I show up vividly so that it hopefully allows other people to take up as much space as possible as well.
I am a firm believer in taking up space. Okay. Yeah. Like I am a card carrying member of the Loud Mouth Black Girl Club. Yes. I do a whole number of things and people call themselves try to come for me, but I serve it right back to them times 10.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, you talked about leading lady and it just my perspective, and I don't know if you would agree with me, but from season 1 to season 2, I feel like your character, Angie, stepped more so into a leading role. She really, we saw her character flourish from just kind of being like the friend on the couch who has these like quirky things happen. And I'm not saying that in a reductive way because I was living for that as well. But we really saw Angie kind of have such a range of experiences. Can you talk about, do you feel like she had more of a leading role? I know it's not a competition like this lead versus not lead, but how do you feel about Angie's arc over the course of this season of Harlem?
I think you get to see more sides of Angie than you've seen before. I always feel like I toot for Angie and shout for Angie season 1 and to now, and think that you had to see, because Angie's such a powerful human being. And even in the midst of going through all that she went through in season 1, she was undeniably a self-sufficient rocket ship. She's like, I don't need anybody else's fuel. I feel my own. And I think that's something very, very, very powerful to see. And I love that we had that moment for her so that we can appreciate all the softer aspects as well.
Yeah.
So that we can also to hopefully not judge our loud friends, but also realize that there is something beneath the bravado that one, how are they able to be so bold and fearless in a country that tells you to shut up, that you don't matter, but also how are you so bold, fearless, and confident in spite of your circumstances? And that's, I think, for me, the greatest thing about Angie. I love that we get to see her soft. I love that we get to see her with a like romantic and getting her leading lady ish on.
Yeah.
But what I loved so much is that we got to first, specifically with season 2, is we got to see the source of all of the energy. And so the greatest thing about it for me was her going back to her family.
Oh, yes.
That was such a wonderful message and a nice, beautiful tap into behind the mirror of Angie, because everything about her is so performative and loud. And you're like, okay, well, when does she feel something other? Where are the places where she's vulnerable? And we see that in her career. We see that when she needs to go to her family to get recharged. And now we get to see a different type of side of her with this new love.
Oh, yes.
So much for my girl.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I do. I'm sorry. And the question was, do I feel like she got a more of a leading role? I think we got to see a different aspect to her, which I think we identify leading role, of course, is like romance, everything else. So now that she's got her man, we're like, yes. But Angie's been a leading role in her life, and for everyone else around her. Angie take up space.
Yes, I know that's right. And you talked about love throughout your answer, and what resonates with me for her character is when it comes to a Black woman being worthy of love, there's like a list. And if you don't meet that list, or if you have things that are on the no list and they start checking you off like you're not worthy, I don't know how you got that. I don't know how you got that. And one of those things is being loud and taking up space. It's like people expect that because they can't handle that, because they're triggered by it, or because they feel inadequate by it, that nobody can handle it. And it's like, let me tell you something, boo. It's a lot of people that like it. There's a lot of people that like being rambunctious and being that friend who's not just, loud for the sake of being loud, but who's loudly behind you, loudly encouraging you and uplifting you. So I love that. And then there's a sexual politics to it as well, in terms of Black women and there's a whole thing about modesty, and there's always like Black women are not allowed to have sexual agency. And so to see in one season your character Angie go from like getting her freaking dick on, like she was getting her good luck charms on too. I'm not trying to give this the show because I want people to watch it, but I'm gonna call it good luck charms. How about
good
that?
Luck charms.
To actually, what happened with her romance, to see all of that in one season. I think it just sends a really powerful message in terms of trying to break down some of the respectability politics around Black women. What do you think?
I love that you started out with that checklist, honey, because that has been the bane of my existence. This thing of whether women are worthy of being loved. Because we do not do the same thing for men at all. Men get love when they broke. Men get love when they jobless. Men come straight out of school saying, I deserve the love as I joined the career. Men say, oh, I'm going through a whole phase right now, but I also still deserve to be loved even in my brokenness. And we don't do that with women. Women have no room to, like, you have to be this perfect thing before you are worthy of sharing yourself with anyone else. And I'm like, well, no, the journey in me exploring and figuring it out never ends. It never stops. I'll always be healing. I'll always be growing. I'll always be learning. So should I wait till I'm 50 something and figured it out? No way. You gonna love me while I might have some confidence issues with the way this waist is going, or whatever, or you know what, I ain't got the job right now, but you're gonna get this too, because when I get everything, you don't just all of a sudden get to hop on the ride.
I know that's right.
So you're gonna love me when I'm loud. You're gonna love me when I stop. Those things. I just want it to be just an overall wave of women saying, I'm deserving and worthy right now, because the fact that you were created out of your mother's womb and touched by the love of God, you are already worthy. Ain't no bank account that can make you this. Ain't no behavior that you can put on that will make this. No, because at the end of the day, what we want is your authenticity. That's what's so unique and specific about you, that it makes you deserving of love, whether it's a small or large or artistic or intellectual, or right now you don't know and you still figuring out everything that is like so specific to the beautiful creation that you are is enough and worthy and deserving and lovable right now at any phase of your life.
Period. So. I have nothing to add, just period.
Period. All of the politics, cancel it regarding love. No.
Please cancel it just regarding everything, regarding hair, regarding how we talk, regarding how like, the words we choose, careers, everything. Cancel all that respectability BS. We ain't trying to hear none of that. Okay, period.
Man.
So you know what is interesting, your character is this lively person. Obviously you are, but I also hear that you're a little bit of an introvert. So can you talk about for the you know vivacious yet introverted Black woman out there that like people don't get because they expect to show up all the time as like you know, confetti and like sometimes that ain't what you get. Like, can you just represent for those folks very quick?
Honey, it is exhausting because your name is Shoniqua and you got big hair and you wear all the colors and you can't, there is a part of me, my presentational part of me. Well, I'm loud. I come from a loud family. My family is loud. Like you get into, my best friend and I are living together right now. And it was a night, maybe 3:00 in the morning. We had just came back from some premiere. My mom was over here, my sister and my best friend. And I realized like, it's when you go into, when you allow someone else in your space and you kind of like visit it as them, you're like, oh, I'm seeing what you're hearing and, you know, hearing what you're hearing, seeing what you're seeing. And I realized for the first time how loud we were because I saw him sitting down and all of us going in, like the excitement of the day and having not seen each other. And we were getting ready for something else, which is why they were all over here at 3:00 in the morning. I think it was like a flight or something. But my great grandmother, I always call her Jennifer Lewis, like literally Jennifer Lewis and Maya Angelou mixed together. Now, the introvert part of me is honestly, I think because there is so much performative, like I perform for a living. People want me to come in and be Angie or be Shoniqua with glitter and all of those things. When actually I'm crazy shy. I'm doing really well right now because I took some deep breaths and you are like really kind.
Oh, thank you.
But I can be really, really shy and I'm working on honestly what's been the biggest, I guess, issue regarding all of that is being gentle and accepting of the soft sides of me, the quiet pieces of me, and they show up. Because sometimes I would let myself down when I would go into a room and didn't be as loud and and vivacious and be the party starter and realize, okay, well, Shoniqua, there was a part of you that wanted to be small that day. And just because you didn't show up in that space like you showed up in other spaces, or just because you had a little bit of your guard was up today, or you felt like observing, because a lot of that can come from self-protection as well. You have to honor and trust those moments, give grace to those moments, because who knows you better than you? And you go into a space and something within you is like, this is not the space I need to put on a different part of me right now. Or the quiet parts of me wants to show up. That's okay. I gotta trust that and go. And so the biggest thing in all of that has been giving myself grace, because I think because people expect me to show up the way that they want, I expect myself to show up those ways. And I'm not only that. There's a humongous part of me that can be okay being absolutely boring. And some of my favorite friends, my best friends, are the ones that we can just like just sit here and do nothing, or go to a park and do nothing, because everybody wants so much from you. So my word to anyone who is balancing those introverted versus extroverted moments, or showing up and being the party starter versus the wallflower, which is to, one, give yourself grace and trust that anything that your spirit and soul is instinctively showing is needed for that environment and in that room. And and it could be the stillness and peace in you in that moment that someone needed to see versus the party girl, or versus the light shiner. Because there are moments too, I guess, when other people need to shine their light vividly, and maybe you were just creating space for them to do what they needed to do in that moment. So big on grace, big on trust and ease, and saying, all right, whatever we given today is what we given.
Period. Yeah, I love that. And, it's so important to give yourself grace. And to my one of my good friends, I'm not trying to name drop, but Vice President Kamala Harris, she always tells me, like, be kind to yourself. Are you being kind to yourself? And I think that's really important. And, I'm the kind of person where, in my media, a lot of times people will be like, I thought you was gonna cuss that person out. I thought you was gonna do. You ain't getting that 100% of the time. You're not even really getting that 25% of the time, but that's what people kind of have in their mind, that's what I'm going to deliver. But I don't let that like dictate anything, and what you talked about, it just sounds like discernment. Like, we have the discernment. Sometimes it's not conscious discernment, it's subconscious discernment. And I just love that you're working on giving yourself grace, because we're multifaceted and we don't have to show up the same way every time. We need to show up authentically for how we feel in that moment. And that way people can respond to us and our authentic feelings in that moment.
Yes. I love that you said that too, because there is no one more multifaceted than a Black woman.
Absolutely.
Literally surviving in this country alone gives you so much nuance
and
variables. Okay.
Yes.
But let alone the way we express with sisters versus family versus outside and outside of that race and all of those. Like, there's no one as nuanced, as complex, with so many faces and shades as Black women. And I think the more that we begin to get to the forefront, the more that we begin to have our voices amplified, the world will see that. I think there's still so much of a narrow gaze on artistry and expressiveness, and down in the way that it's down even to media and journalism on your. The voices have been very much cisgendered white male. Did not fall within that category. You were excessive. But I think with more of us coming in, you're going to realize how nuanced we are, how you can get such a range from a Black woman from one moment to the other. And going back to acting, I hope I can be a part of showing that, because sometimes you're going to get all of the juice and all of the, yes. And then sometimes it's just, I am here present, and just that is enough. And none of it is coming from a place of like lack or anything else. It's just, we have so many colors within our canvas to play with.
Oh yeah.
So,
and I wouldn't say I hope, because you've already done that. Let's say you hope to continue, because I think that Angie is iconic. And she just displays that range so beautifully and so boldly. And I think, in a way, I can't exactly recall a way that that's been done before. I mean, I watch all the Black girl shows, of course, I watch all the Black shows, but like, Angie is something very different and very special, particularly for that dynamic range. And I think the range in things that are not necessarily celebrated or even embraced about Black women. And it's like, people like to say stereotypical this. And I'm like, well, the stereotype is because some of that is really true. Like, some of us do act like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't take it as an insult if you like, you're a stereotypical loudmouth Black girl. Okay, I'm a loudmouth Black girl. If you want to call it a stereotype, that's fine. But that's what I am, So I love that about you. And one of the quotes that your character said was, "The world doesn't deserve Black women." And I was like, yes. But last question, I just want to end on a certain note, because you mentioned your mom and your sister, and I know you talked about how important family is to you. So can you just, as we close out this interview, talk about what it's meant having your family and still having them along the journey with you as you're just blowing up and more people are starting to see your brilliance?
Thank you. Amen. That was some big words, my brilliance.
Yes.
Amen. I'm gonna hold on to that and put that in my jaw on a low day.
Please do.
Pull from that. Thank you so much. My family is everything. I am so, so, so grateful for the family that God gave me. My mom is my manager, and she was my manager back in the day. And
Okay.
then we made the transition again. And she is one of the most hardworking, kindest, nurturing, loving human beings, empowering that I've ever met in my life.
Mm.
And honestly, having her here and my sister is so heaven sent, because this industry, it ebbs and flows.
Mm.
And they've been my support system and my biggest cheerleaders when I needed it most.
Yeah.
Um, and then also my protectors of spirit,
Mm.
because as you said, start to rise up other people like, hey girls, and all of those things. And so having people there who can discern and pray for you and cover you, support you, encourage you. It's a necessity. I don't know how people do it alone. I'm so grateful that I haven't had to. And I hope that we can take over this industry. My sister's doing my PR, my mom's my manager. It'd be nice to continue to, God, let this grow and build a little Williams Shandai empire.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm truly grateful. I moved out here when I was 17, and I saw how people could get lost in the pursuit of this industry,
Mm-hmm.
and how it can make you feel like you need to change who you are, or what you have isn't good enough. And then also too, being performers and actors is so easy to put on another mask, is what we do for a living.
Mm-hmm.
So having people who know you be like, why are you doing this right now?
Yeah.
It's very people to remind you what the anchor is, what the purpose, the light is, what the message from God is, has been a blessing. So I'm so grateful for my family.
Well, I'm so grateful that you have them with you, because one thing a Black woman needs in this world is support in the community and love. And if we can get that through family that we're given by God, like you said, is just such a blessing. And you're a blessing to all of us, to my listeners. My girlfriends and I, we actually have been recapping Harlem. So we usually do we do a live recap. It's on my social media channels. And
Okay.
yeah, you haven't been dragged. Your character hasn't been dragged. We've dragged a lot of characters, but
Oh, goodness.
Angie has been
She made it through this
favorite.
one.
Yes. So thank you so much for everything that you do, everything that you bring. I'm looking forward to hearing more music from you. Say your single one more time for those who want to look it up.
It's Something About You by Shoniqua
Yes.
Shandai.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, Shoniqua, thank you so much for being with me here today. And you can come back anytime you want to promote anything, your next video, your next project, you're always welcome.
Yes. Oh, I appreciate you so much. And I'm interested to see y'all recaps, because I got some things to say about this season too that I haven't been able to. So.
Okay. I love it. I'll send it to you.
Yes, please.
All right. Thank you so much for being here with me. Have a good one.
You too.
Bye.